On July 9th, I reported that I was taking a trip to Washington, D.C. to participate in the Building One America Summit for Inclusive Suburbs and Sustainable Regions. In preparing for my presentation, I asked Public Works Director Kevin Weller for clarification on certain items and asked for his thoughts on what needed to be included in the presentation. I then submitted the presentation to Mayor Hanks, Village Engineer Jim Zarnick, and Village Attorney McGrath to proofread and change where necessary. I never made any promises to anyone. There was no need to. This was not a trip that was funded through the village of Sauk Village. I have not claimed a single cent as an expense. This is my business and no one else's. My report would not have taken this direction if it had not been for the mere fact that a certain group of residents, non-residents, board member or members, and commission members felt that I have acted inappropriately and illegally. An email from the executive director of Building One America personally inviting me to the summit. Building One America sent the exact same email to several suburban elected officials, including Sauk Village officials. I do not apologize for any of the actions I've stated above. You have to wonder if any business or individual looking for a place to live would ever consider Sauk Village as a place to hang their hat with all of this negativity swirling around.
Did any vendors help sponsor this trip?
And your business for that, asking that reason, that question is what? It's a personal trip. I refuse to respond. It was a personal trip. I refuse to respond.
Mayor, so you understand, the village vendors are our vendors. They're here for the village. If they help sponsor a trip, we need to know, as elected officials, that they help sponsor a trip. I don't care what she can call it, it could be impersonal, but the village vendors, who we as a village pay, help sponsor this trip. We need to know that.
It seems like some people already have that information because I've been accused. I thought you were done. I beg your pardon. I will respond when you're done.
The reason why I'm asking this question is not in contract. It's what we sign every March. It's called the ethics statement. And in the ethics statement, it says that you have to declare things like this. That's all I'm saying. That was my first question. My second question was, when you got this communication, how come you communicated with the rest of the board? Me, myself, never knew anything until you made the statement at the village meeting that you were going. Didn't know anything about the summit, anything like that. I would have thought that you would have asked any of the other trustees or any of the other elected officials would they like to go. Don't ask 2 days before you leave and say, oh, you can come if you want to. That was my second statement. But I still reserve the right to ask if that trip, if any village vendor that does business with the village helps sponsor that trip, I'm asking you now. If not, I'll FOIA it, or I'll ask the vendors. Because that is an ethics policy. It is. You can look it up. Thank you.
Can I respond, Ms. Washington, before you ask a question? Because I realize that I am on the attack. I am on the attack. I do not apologize for any of the actions I've stated above. I am on the attack. I do not apologize for any of the actions I've stated above. I am on the attack. I do not apologize for any of the actions I've stated above. First of all, it has been stated that I have shaken down vendors and I have gotten so much money from so many vendors. Let it be known. I also announced that I was taking this trip at my own expense. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity, and he wished me well. And until the village attorney tells me that I have to submit any documentation, I refuse. I also announced that I was taking this trip at my own expense. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity, and he wished me well. And until the village attorney tells me that I have to submit any documentation, I refuse. I also announced that I was taking this trip at my own expense. I've asked an attorney if I have to supply any information regarding my personal endeavor to Washington. I was told I do not. And until the village attorney tells me that I have to submit any documentation, I refuse. This was a personal trip at my expense for my endeavor. Oh, I have shaken down vendors and I have gotten so much money from so many vendors. Let it be known. Just said, Trustee Burgess. No, I did not. Every day, elected official. I'm answering your question, Trustee Burgess, and I'm not going to argue with you. I was asked to represent Sauk Village. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. This was a personal trip at my expense for my endeavor. I was asked to represent Sauk Village. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. It did not become a representation of Sauk Village until I was asked to do so. I was asked to represent Sauk Village. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity. But, Trustee Burgess, now that you mention it, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every elected official on this dais represents the village of Sauk Village. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every elected official on this dais represents the village of Sauk Village. This was a personal trip. I am in the public. I represent the village of Sauk Village. This was a personal trip. I am in the public. I represent the village of Sauk Village. This was a personal trip. When I am in the public, I represent the village of Sauk Village. Until the village attorney tells me I have to provide any information, I will not.
It's a matter of ethics. It's not personal. I don't know why you say the person's ethics. Like you just got to say about 5 trustees, which that was not true. It was not 5 trustees talking about you. To me, you're not that important to talk about like that.
Ooh.
You're not.
I don't know. I've been awful important.
Not to discuss where you're going. Not that way. We didn't talk about that. I'm just asking. I'm asking the attorney. Are we supposed to have that information? If anyone is doing business with the village contributes to one of the officials doing something, because I know we cannot accept more than $100 at any given time from outside. At least that's what I signed when I signed the statement.
Trustee, I think that the attorney has answered at this point, does not know the answer, so we'll do is
So can I get an answer?
We'll look for them to provide an answer, and then probably an explanation on the ethics, because we know that we all sign the ethics report every year. So again, we know that ethics talks about taking money from a vendor from a certain amount for personal use. But we do have to take a look at, since this trip was to Washington and Sauk Village was represented, it does the ethics report also include money is being used for a trip.
This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip.
For representing the village of Sauk Village.
This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip.
So we'll get that from the attorney.
You're right, Mayor. That is exactly what you just got to say. She took the trip in cahoots, in accordance with village of Sauk Village. If that's the case, then the vendor, whoever they were, we should know who they were to help sponsor them. Even if it was taken, first it was personal, using my own money, then I got sponsored, then it was vendors. Now I don't know what it is, now I don't want to answer.
This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip. This was a personal trip.
I'm just saying, let's do what's right. That's all I'm asking. Let's do what's right. And that is right to disclose who it was. That's all. Simple as that. All the other personal stuff and attacking back and forth. I'm not even talking about Facebook. I'm tired of Facebook. I don't even get on Facebook.
I agree.
But
I don't either.
we're not talking about Facebook. I'm talking about something that has to do with this village. And if vendors are sponsoring things, fine. I myself, like I said, did not get the opportunity to go. Would I have gone? I don't know. Depends on how quick or how early I got that opportunity. But I still, and I'm sure the people want to know, especially now with things and where they are as far as our financial situation. But I still would like to know if it was funded.
And Trustee, I think we'll get your answer for you. I think we spent enough time on this topic because we don't have an answer from the attorneys. So wait for the answer from the attorneys.
Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity.
It's no different than an elected official going to a Southborough Mayors and Managers meeting.
Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity.
It's no different than an elected official going to a Southborough Mayors and Managers meeting.
Mayor Hanks and I agreed that the trip would be a great opportunity.
So, Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say in regard to 5 trustees in the back discussing the village clerk, I asked at a meeting that we went to if it was against the law or the Open Meeting Act for trustees to talk more than 3 at a time. And I was told, and Mayor, you was at that meeting along with Trustee Hoskins and Trustee Morton, as well as Gary Hogan, and they told us it is not against the law for 3 or more trustees to talk, as long as they're not discussing what they're gonna vote on, and as long as they're not talking about money. If I go someplace in the name of the neighborhood watching, if I get vendors that give money to this village to sponsor me to go there, I don't want to hear anything about it. The clerk was going to represent Sauk Village in the whole south suburbs. That's what I heard here. I don't know if the minister reflect that or not. And I just want to say for the record, personally, I don't care where anybody goes or what anybody does. I'm not here for that. But I do want to have an open and a transparent form of government that we told people that we wanted to have for them. And when questions are asked to me, I don't want to be lumped in a group of people that's talking about somebody. I feel that this was not the arena to discuss all of this, but that's not my call.
This is the perfect arena.
Well, I feel that it isn't, because that's just her own personal rebuttal on what somebody said about her on Facebook, or what she heard somebody say in the back room of Fab about her. I hear a lot of stuff said about me on Facebook and here and other places too, but I don't bring it here to get clarity for it or to defend it. So that's my opinion, like everybody else here has an opinion. That's just my own personal opinion that I want it noted. Thank you.
It's no different than an elected official going to a South Suburban Mayors and Managers meeting, or to a dinner, or going out and meeting with Cook County at an event that Cook County's having. There's nothing different. When an elected official goes to events like that, they are representing the village of Sauk Village. When the trustees go and talk to our state representatives, when they're out there in parades, walking with state representatives, and they're a trustee in this village, they're representing the village of Sauk Village.
We're one big happy family. We're one big happy family. We're one big happy family.